Today, we're ranking the top 45 running backs for fantasy football into tiers. We're going to talk about their advanced analytics, their player value, how they should be drafted, the strategy around them, and everything else. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're covering player rankings throughout the offseason, during the season. We're helping you set your lineups, and we're covering the draft strategy so you can take advantage of those player values. Click that button. Stop missing out. It's all free. But as you see right here, I got the players pixelated, and I will reveal them one by one as we go through the rankings. And for the S tier, we're going to start things off with Bijan Robinson, stud prospect, gets a lot of work in the passing game, should be fire all season long, top in ADP as we always see. How are you going to bet against this? A running back scoring 20 points a game, that's very effective, that's very elusive, that's good game to game. Did not have any down weeks of under 10 fantasy points, getting a lot of work in the passing game, running a lot of routes. Unless the injury bug hits or Michael Penix is that bad, it's hard to bet against him. Next is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, very productive with the Eagles, always been a stud prospect, getting a lot of work, very explosive. Should see much of the same. The only thing people are worried about is the injury bug. Everybody's scared of the workload, but it's hard to be scared of the production. 22.3 points per game, 24 opportunities a game. He does have an injury history with the Giants, but you kind of got to just ride the workload out, ride that wave if you're interested, because the upside's there, the consistency is there. When you're looking at Saquon Barkley, he's also very efficient, very effective with the ball in his hands. Explosive rating, juke rate, yards per touch, true yards per carry. It's all up there, and this is a running back you see highlight after highlight of. It's hard to bet against. But Jahmyr Gibbs is also in the S tier. Very productive last season. A guy that's always getting work in the passing game. Very energetic offense with the Detroit Lions. You're looking at a running back here that's coming into his own, scoring 21.1 points per game last season, getting a lot of work, getting work in the passing game, which is very effective. He's also one of the most efficient running backs in football. He's so fast. He's so elusive. He's got good vision. He's good in the passing game. He's one of the most effective running backs in one of the better offenses, and he's very explosive. These are running backs going in the first round. It's pretty cut and dry. They all have top-tier upside. They're all getting top-tier workload, and you just pick the one you like the most. And if you don't like any of them, or if one's too rich for your blood, then you can pivot to the wide receivers. I think the first round, when you're looking at the running backs, it's pretty cut and dry when you're looking at the middle to the top end of this year's draft. But we're looking at tier A now. We got a lot more players, and I like to diversify from running backs and just mix and match as I'm drafting in a lot of leagues. So really in this range, just pick the guy you want. But the player I'm looking at next here, Derrick Henry, should be explosive in this offense, should be productive, should be getting a lot of touches, and also very safe. As long as he's healthy and on the field, he should be very safe. He's a monster. He's going to be a cornerstone of the offense for a long time until Father Time says stop. Almost 20 points per game last year, getting a lot of work, getting a lot of opportunities. He's also very efficient. His efficiency is understated, good vision, not used much in the passing game, but this is not a pass-heavy offense, and this is a running back here that can score in bunches with breakaway runs, 25 of them last year, leading all running backs in the NFL. And he had a slow come up during the start of his career, which is allowing him to age like a fine wine. Next off the board, Achane. Blew up last season, looked good even when the Dolphins weren't playing so well. He's still usable in fantasy. So if the Dolphins are seeing an uptick in production, why not him? He's just too explosive to not like because he can go off on any given Sunday. He's great for best ball. He's great for DFS. He's great for lineup setting. And he could be even better this year as the Dolphins were experiencing a lot of injuries last year that was impacting him. But he was still efficient. He was still running a lot of routes. His usage in the passing game is understated. He gets a lot of work in the red zone. That speed is going to help you out in fantasy because he can make those big runs and get those chunk plays. And you're looking at Christian McCaffrey next. Christian McCaffrey at this ranking spot means you may not be getting him too much, but the upside's there, but the injury history is something that's making everybody scared. Can we get a full season out of Christian McCaffrey? That is the gamble you're making with them. Where I got him ranked, you're kind of staying away from that bet as it's lower than ADP, but you're still able to dip your toe in the water here and there if you want. Also, when he's on the field, he's getting work, he's getting opportunity, he's running a lot of routes, which is great for fantasy. But it's hard to bet on the injuries here or bet against the injuries because you never know what's going to happen with Christian McCaffrey. So you can go one way or another. There's good running backs on the board. Ashton Jeanty, the big-time rookie running back prospect, getting drafted in the first round in a lot of leagues. He's the first-round selection in fantasy right now, and the upside's there. We're looking at a top-tier talent here, drafted in the first round, very explosive. The Raiders are going to use him. There could be a rookie ramp-up baked in here where it feels like it's anticlimactic, but after that happens, he's going to blast off, and he was very productive last year for Boise State. He was setting records. I think people forget about that. A lot of people don't forget about that. But this is a running back that's going to come on strong for the Raiders. Jonathan Taylor, the veteran running back with tremendous size, tremendous speed, very explosive. Never forget the generational talent, the explosiveness of Jonathan Taylor. We're in the back nine of the career. We're getting there, but we get a lot of work. We're getting a lot of opportunity. 17.6 points per game last year. 23.9 opportunities last year, touches and targets. Number 1 in opportunity share. So we're getting work. That's what you like about running backs. Efficiency dichotomy's there. Like there's some numbers where we're up there, like in breakaway runs, due to that sheer speed and explosive rating. And then on top of that, true yards per carry. That's also the quarterback play mixed in there. But that work. You want a lot of touches for your running backs in fantasy football. Bucky Irving. Changes in the offense, changes with the offensive line, but he's very effective, very good as a rookie last season. He came on as a rookie last season, also killed it in the back end of the season. I expect much of the same. We do have change in coaching staff. Offensive line we're paying attention to. We made some additions to the wide receiver core, but Bucky Irving should be getting a lot of touches, should be getting a lot of work. Almost 15 points per game last year, but he was very efficient. One of the most efficient running backs in football. The vision was always there. The elusiveness was always there. He's also good in the passing game. Breece Hall's good in the passing game. He's very electric, very explosive. We got Justin Fields. One of the most underrated top-tier talents in football is Breece Hall. Good catching the ball out of the backfield. Good in fantasy. Kind of anticlimactic. 15 points per game, but he can give you the spike weeks. You might be seeing a lot of spike weeks and up and downs this year with Justin Fields, a la because it is Justin Fields, but he's going to get a lot of work in the run game, but also in the passing game. 76 targets last year. That's a lot for a running back. We're also running a lot of routes, 26 per game. That could reduce this year as they're looking like they're going to be more of an RPO-heavy offense. However, he might be in line for a lot of check down still, but also have some lanes open for some big rushing attempts. But when we look at this tier, these are the next running backs coming off the board. Round 2, late round 1, maybe in round 3 territory, but they all got some goods to their game that you like about them. They also all have a little bit of risk, whether they're older, they've had some injuries, they're in a suspect situation, there's some changes, whatever it is. They all have a little bit of risk. But when you go back down here to Tier B, things get rather interesting very quick because these players got some upside too. Chase Brown, you're attached to the Bengals, looked good last season. For the price, you can't get much better than Chase Brown. He's in an offense that's going to buoy his production. He's explosive. He's proven he can be productive, 16.1 points per game. He's rocking almost 20 opportunities per game. Very effective there, getting a lot of targets, 6th among running backs. Effective when it comes to efficiency. A little bit of dichotomies when it comes to true yards per carry, but he's getting so much work because he's up there in carries, up there in targets, that you kind of expect that. And the number one thing you want to look at in running backs is the workload. He's got the workload. He's got the team behind him. He's proven to be productive. I like Chase Brown, especially at cost. Kyren Williams, a master of workload, master of getting touches. He's good at getting volume. You see that here, 17.4 points per game. Very reliable, very steady, number 1 in snaps, number 2 in opportunity share. He doesn't lead the field. He's also Mr. Reliable. Sean McVay loves him. Nothing's going to change unless something changes. They are bringing in more running backs. We saw that with Hunter in this year's draft. There are some efficiency dichotomies there, so that could rear its head. But right now, he's getting a lot of workload. I expect him to get a lot of workload. It's not like he's going to be riding the pine or splitting his carries in half. Even if he splitted his opportunities a little bit, he's still going to be tops in the league. That's the thing about this. He's getting a lot of work. They're going to use him. They're going to write him out. They're trying to get him in punt returns last year. that is a sign that they're going to use him till the wheels fall off. The question is, when will the wheels fall off? Omarion Hampton, upside city. He's climbing the board as we speak in ADP due to the news to Najee Harris. I love this upside rookie. Omarion Hampton, drafted in the first round, going to a run-first team, a run-heavy coach with good size-adjusted athleticism, who is very productive. The veteran on the team, Najee Harris, is dealing with an injury right now. He's getting looks. He's looking good in practice. At this juncture, he's a great bet. James Cook, tremendous at getting touchdowns last season. Can we continue this pace? He had a good season last year, 15.7 points per game, 14.4 opportunities per game, which is lower compared to some of the top running backs, but he's very touchdown heavy. That's something I don't like in players because that could reduce rather quickly, especially when the opportunities don't really match it. He could have a good season with 10, 11, 12, and you'll feel that in fantasy football. Dichotomies here with some of the efficiency metrics as well. That is a player that could still hit you really hard one way or another in fantasy because we also get the Bills offense that could buoy his production, that allow him to get in the red zone. He's also very explosive, but also those touchdowns, that touchdown rate could decrease this season, which could impact you in fantasy football. Josh Jacobs gets volume. He was productive last season and is a guy you're looking to get as a value as maybe your RB2. One of the most understated running backs right now in fantasy is Josh Jacobs. He turned it on the back end of the season. He was getting a lot of work, over 20 opportunities a game, just touch after touch. And at that age, he was rather efficient, rather reliable too. For the Packers, this is an offense that moves the football efficiency-wise, right in line with his ranking, right in line where he should be after getting so much touch, so much workload, so many opportunities. That being said, the workload's what you want to watch with the running backs. Efficiency kind of next, how explosive they are. Not getting much work in the passing game, though. That could turn into volatility, up and down play, due to that impacting his floor in fantasy football, but he's still getting a lot of work right now. And he's also not falling off. Second evaded tackles, 10th in juke rate. Not falling off in yards per touch, even though it's 22. Because it's right in line where he's at being valued. Tier B is a fun tier. This is a tier that can make or break your team. Also in this round, this area of the draft, because there's also some good wide receivers that are also very ambiguous that could go one way or the other. They have a lot of upside. They're veteran players. They seem steady. But there's also, with all the players in this range, this early middle round range, there's a lot of questionable players. This is that part of the draft where we have to hammer out the best because that could be the most influential parts of our drafts outside of those late round gems. But now we're looking at tier C. It's huge. It's huge. And I'm mixing and matching. This is the dead zone. This is the top of the dead zone. And we're starting things off. Chuba Hubbard, reliable. Got that contract last year. Going to get the touches. Going to be sharing the backfield with Rico. He caught that contract last year. Looking to have another big season this year. They brought in Rico Dowdle. That could impact the opportunities as he was getting over 20 a game last year. Some in the 30s. Getting a lot of workload, but he was very reliable. A very good running back prospect. Also very good for the price. Also very effective. Very efficient. Running a lot of routes. Chuba Hubbard at the price too. You might be catching top-level results on a lot of weeks, even with competition in the backfield. You also got Kenneth Walker, gets a lot of work in the passing game. When he's on the field, he's good. However, you got to get him on the field. He's got to stay healthy. I just want to see him healthy for a full season. He can give you top-level results, almost top-level workload too. 6.5 points per game, 18.7 opportunities per game. We're getting a lot of routes ran, a lot of work in the passing game. He's very elusive. He's got 4.3 speed. So if he's got Green in front of him, he could house it on any given play. There's a lot of upside with him, but we're also starting to get sick of the injury. Alvin Kamara. Will Father Time spit in his face this year, or is he going to continue to be Alvin Kamara? Also, you got that quarterback battle that does not look too hot for fantasy football. Father Time's ignoring Alvin Kamara. He's just continuing to be awesome on the field. 19 points per game, 22.7 opportunities per game. He's getting work after work, touch after touch. A lot of work in the passing game. Number 1 in target share, second in route participation, almost 20 routes per game. He's never leaving the field. Unless Father Time steps in, he's going to be good. James Conner is very reliable. Father Time, will he step in? Or is James Conner just going to road dog it again this year? Nobody's more reliable than James Conner. And unless Father Time steps in and says stop, he's going to be reliable. 16 points per game, game after game, getting it done, getting a lot of opportunities, pushing 20 opportunities a game at 18.2, but also very efficient. One of the most efficient running backs in football. Unless something changes causing him to change, then you're going to get this. Like, he's not going to drop off in efficiency that bad over a year. Like, this is a tremendous value right now in fantasy. Joe Mixon. Out sometime last year with some injuries. When he's on the field, he's effective. This is a good offense that can move the chains. Very interesting player. Everybody likes the Texans offense. Joe Mixon is always interesting, especially in this offense with C.J. Stroud. 17.2 points per game. A lot of upside games. Some low side games as well. A lot of opportunities. 21.3 opportunities a game when he's healthy and on the field. Also, there's an efficiency dichotomy here. You're seeing lower and true yards per carry, yards per touch. Opportunity share 5th among running backs. You want to chase touches. You want to chase workload. You're getting that here with Joe Mixon. David Montgomery had an injury last season at the end of the season, but we are very productive last year. We get a lot of work in the red zone. This is a running back that you can catch at a good price in the dead zone. You're looking at one of the more dependable RB2s in the game, probably one of the best RB2s in all of football. He gets a lot of work in the red zone, a lot of touches, 16 points per game, 15.9 opportunities a game. He's getting work as a top-end running back. We're paying attention to how he looks in training camp due to that knee issue in the back end of the season, but also the efficiency is still there, and it's right in line to where he's ranked at as well. Also, he's getting a lot of red zone looks, a lot of touchdown opportunities. 12 touchdowns last year, 8th among running backs, but he's also getting brought in around the goal line a lot. Also in the dead zone, RJ Harvey and the rookie running backs. Tons of upside here. This is a running back that could take over the league, that could be a top player. His upside could reach tier A, tier S status. That's why you want to look at these young guys. I love the explosive rookie running back. I think we got a lot of upside. I think he can take over this backfield by the end of the season. This could be a league winner. This could be a tier S, tier A play. Down the line, you're looking at the workload metrics. You're looking at what he did at college, a 96th percentile college dominator rating. He was dominant. He also has 4.4 speed, 91st speed score, 88th percentile burst score. Very electric and great for Bo Nix. He's good in the passing game. Like TreVeyon Henderson, Hendo has speed to burn. He's good in the passing game. He's got a young quarterback that's on the uptick right now. He could end up in A tier, S tier by the end of the season. You're looking at a running back prospect here that's explosive, shot out of a cannon, good at catching the ball out of the backfield. That was a former 5-star recruit. He's got 4.43 speed, 81st percentile speed score. Also very explosive. He's going to be great with Drake May. Same thing with Kaleb Johnson. Kaleb Johnson could be an S tier, A tier running back by season's end. Even with this offense, with it being rather ambiguous and slower, he could be getting so much work that everybody wants him. He could be jumping the board by a tremendous amount due to the upside. I look for him to get a lot of touches with the Steelers over time. We got Jaylen Warren there. There might be a ramp up. Maybe by the end of the season, he might be the guy getting a lot of work. I would not be surprised if he starts hitting to that upside. Very productive in college, 99th percentile college dominator rating. Also very effective, very efficient with the ball in his hands. A grinder that can handle a lot of work. Looking at the early part of the dead zone, there's a lot of good things to look at here. You got running backs that are very stable, that are reliable, good RB2s that you can pick up. And as long as the injury bug doesn't bite, you're going to be good to go. You also got some good rookies to look at that could be a springboard for your team. They're more of a gamble because there's a rookie ramp up there. But if you go that route, you want to be good and you want to be consistent and you want to feel reliable with your top picks. No gambles at the top before you go that route. And you're going to have that in your hearts before you make that pick. You're going to know because you got those safe options, but you also got those top tier younger options. I wouldn't say super risky. We kind of know what's all involved with those players. But going down here to the next tier, we're looking at tier D. A lot of players in tier D, but it's kind of the back end of the dead zone. But Isiah Pacheco, are we going to get right? Because if we get right, we're in tier B, tier A range. If we don't, we're tier F or below. That's the thing about this. We may not be on the field much. Do we get right? That is the question. Which version of him are we going to see? Are we going to see last year's version, which got hit with injuries, so we might have to take a mulligan on that, or the years prior? Because if we see the years prior at this price tag, that's blast off. That's big time potential. However, if we don't, he ain't even going to be on our rosters by the end of the season. We weren't efficient. However, the question is, are we going to be the year prior or what we saw last year. That injury's in there. That is a change that could be a major effect of what we see, and he could bounce right back up this season. This is a team that could buoy production. There's a lot of upside here with Isiah Pacheco. DeAndre Swift, up and down last season, had his moments good in the passing game. It was an up and down season for him. He started off slow, then he got hot, then he got mid, then he got slow, then he got lukewarm. 17.9 opportunities per game, so the workload's there. Pretty much what you expect from DeAndre Swift. Pretty much what we saw throughout his career. We weren't terribly efficient, though. 59th in true yards per carry, 36th in yards per touch. We get a lot of work in the passing game. Change of coaching staff, change in offensive line. We do have a tremendous injury history with the Detroit Lions that nobody wants to forget about. This is a running back that's probably just going to be up and down again. Tony Pollard, good at getting volume last year. He was a solid, steady RB2. Will not get you S and A tier results, but is a good guy to have on your team that will get you by every single week and will give you good lineups. If you're looking for consistency, but not too many boom weeks, Tony Pollard's it. He's going to be good game in and game out. That's the thing about this. If you're looking for a running back here that will get you by, get you good production, but maybe not S tier, A tier level results, here you go. He's good for all teams. But if you're looking for somebody that can win you your league, you may want to look somewhere else. But he's good in your lineups. Like, he's going to be good week in and week out. He's going to be steady. Like, he's good as a flex play. If he's your RB2 and you slammed wide receiver and went here RB, this is a great guy to look at. You added Cam Ward. He got a lot of points last year, 12.8 a game, but steady as an RB2 week in and week out. Got a lot of carries, got a lot of target, got a lot of workload. He's going to get that work this season. He's going to get work till the wheels fall off. Aaron Jones, can we hold up this year? Can we hold up? That is the major question when we're looking at him. He had a good season last year, 14.6 points per game, multiple RB1 weeks, a lot of opportunities. A featured role in the offense, was very electric. Change of quarterback play here. They added Jordan Mason. Could be different this year, but that could be a buffer to help him get through the season. We're getting a lot of carries. We're getting a lot of targets. He's always been an effective weapon in the run game no matter where he's at. As long as he's not getting hit with injuries like we saw with the Packers on the back nine of his career there, then he should be all right. He could be a tremendous value this year. Travis Etienne. Last year was a down year. The year prior, we were looking solid. What Travis Etienne are we going to get here in 2025? If we get the year prior, then this is going to be a good year, and you're getting a tier A, tier B player at a cheap cost. Still running with the ones, so the coaching staff hasn't thrown him out yet. But the thing is, Travis Etienne's got a lot of upside. He's in the back end of the RB dead zone, and he could give you top-level results. He could revert back to what he was because he's good catching the ball out of the backfield. He's very explosive. If we get what we got last year, he's not finishing the season on your team. He's just not. However, if we get what we got prior to last year, you're getting a running back that could get you to the moon, that could help you win your league. Brian Robinson, he's good at getting volume. He's good at making you get by with your lineups. There's not much upside with him. Lack of role in the passing game. He's good at getting opportunities. He's not going to win you many weeks, but he's not going to lose them for you either. That's what you're saying about Brian Robinson. 11.7 points per game. A lot of RB2 weeks with a couple RB1 weeks sprinkled in there. 15.1 opportunities per game. Not getting much work in the passing game. Also not horribly efficient, but just a stout running back that could get you by. Quinshon Judkins, I do not know where to put him. I had him in tier C prior to the arrest, but I also don't want to go too far down because if nothing happens, I want to pivot back up to where I was at. But I also want to put him down because I realize there's a suspension in the air. It's quite the shame because he's very talented. He could be a top-level running back in the league. We do not know if he's getting suspension. There's a chance he gets suspended for a long time. There's a chance he doesn't see the field much this season. That is in the cards. There's also a chance that nothing happens and he goes blast off. The odds are more likely something's going to happen, but I can't tell you what. So I do not know where to really rank him, but you're just going to have to make your choice. If you make the choice not to look his way at all, cool. If you want to take value on him and chase the gamble, go ahead. That's on you. But honestly, the upside's there. If he's on the field, he's getting work. He has the chance to be a top-level running back. You're also looking at the quarterback situation there. It's bad. It's dire. That's something that could impact his play as well. All in all, when I look at tier D, I'm looking at the back end of the dead zone. That's where it is in ADP. Those guys kind of lie together. And I'm looking at tier D as there's some good prospects here. As you see, as we keep getting deeper down the tiers, There's a lot of good talent. Then we're going to get deeper down the tiers, and we're still going to have a lot of good talent. It is deep at running back this season, and you'll see this as we start in Tier E. Cam Scatterboo, upside running back prospect this year, might get his opportunity. This is a flyer, but you're catching him at a price tag in drafts where you're spending picks on flyers. This is an upside running back that could take over. Cam Scatterboo took over at the college level, and you're seeing that in the numbers. 1,700 yards, 21 touchdowns. He's gritty. He's got good feet. He's got good vision. This is a good upside play. This is an upside play that could take over. That's what you're seeing here with Scatterboo. Tyrone Tracy back to the den zone, but kind of mixed in with Cam Scatterboo. Good in the passing game. Very electric last year, turned it on as a rookie. 11 points per game, but multiple RB1 weeks, which a lot of running backs would kill for. Almost 15 opportunities per game. He's also very electric. He's good in the passing game. He's going to be sharing the backfield for sure this season. That could reduce his role, but also with him being so explosive and good in the passing game, he could sneak up on you this season. Zach Charbonnet, if you're looking for something reliable that's cheap, or if you have Kenneth Walker, you may want to look his direction. If Kenneth Walker is out, Zach Charbonnet is going to hit. He's a good running back. He was good at Michigan. He was good at UCLA. He's very effective. He's very efficient. He can run through you. He can get around you. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's good at all phases. He's showing you that 3 RB1 weeks. When he gets the opportunity, he cashes. He's also a very efficient runner. He's just got good vision. He can grind it out. If I have Kenneth Walker, I'm definitely looking at Charbonnet. The price variance between the two is good enough to make it happen. Ramondre Stevenson. This is a player that's falling under the radar. Was not hot last year. TreVeyon Henderson is the upside play, but could grind out some touches this year. It was a down year for Ramondre Stevenson last year, but also he had some good weeks last year as well. It was off and on. It could be like that this year. He's also sharing a backfield with TreVeyon Henderson, but this is a running back prospect. He's on the cheap. That could yield you some results. 16.5 opportunities per game. He should be in double digits on opportunities this year. He's not super efficient. He's just going to be a grinder between the tackles. He's not going to win your league. That's the thing about it. He's not going to win your league, but he's definitely going to be able to get you by. There's potential for that. Jordan Mason is another player that could sneak out production this year. He was very good with the 49ers last year and that heavy run game. Something happens to Aaron Jones, he might be a guy you're placing chips on. The Vikings have a good offense with a lot of weapons. That could buoy Mason's fantasy production. He might have a good year this year, but he's also sharing the backfield with Aaron Jones. If something happens to Jones, this is a running back you're looking at heavy. He might be a good guy to have as RB4, RB3, RB something on the back end of your depth chart there, because something happens to Jones, he could be getting a lot of work, a lot of opportunity. He was good with the Niners last year when he got the opportunity. 9th in yards per touch, 7th in true yards per carry. He can be effective. He can be efficient. Rachaad White, super cheap, considering how productive he was last year, sharing work with Bucky Irving, different coaches, different offensive line, some changes there that could impact these rushers. However, at this price tag in the double-digit rounds, a guy that's going to give you a bunch of RB2 weeks is very palatable at that price. He's at a good price right now. He's getting a lot of work, double-digit opportunities per game, sometimes in the 20s, off and on when it comes to production, but he's a steady RB2. Not too many down weeks, but he can hit RB1 as well because he's good in the passing game. You see that in his numbers. He's running a lot of routes, 18.9 routes per game. So in the right matchup, he could hit for you at the price, double-digit rounds. That's a good price tag. Not efficient. He's never been an efficient running back in the NFL. You're not expecting him to take over a backfield. But as a Moneyball play, Rachaad White's something to look at this cost. Trey Benson is a tremendous upside play. He's so cheap that there's no risk. You just cut him and move on, and you won't even think about it. You won't remember it a month from now. That's the thing about Trey Benson. But the upside is immense. It could be tier A, tier S status if something happens to James Conner. True upside play here with Trey Benson. If James Conner goes down, you may be looking at a guy that goes nuclear. He has 4.3 speed. He's an effective weapon. Drafted in the 3rd round. Still got some opportunity last year. 2 RB2 weeks last season. That is just a lottery ticket that's cheap. That's cheaper than some of the other rookie running backs that we're looking at this year that has the same amount of upside. Tier E is the back end of the dead zone, and you're also approaching the lottery ticket status. I'm saving roster spots for a lot of these lottery tickets on my rosters. I want to have a few of these rookies on the back end. I'll move them around throughout the season, dropping one, picking another up as the season goes, as I'm watching touches. but this is a tremendous rookie draft class, and we have some year 2 running backs that might hit for us, a la Trey Benson. Going down to tier F. Now we're getting interesting. J.K. Dobbins with the Broncos. He was good last season. Will be a good buffer back for R.J. Harvey's ramp up. I'm not expecting him to ever hit S tier, tier A status, but he could get you some production. He was very effective this year. He's with the Broncos now. Things might change a little bit with R.J. Harvey. Look for him to get some workload. I doubt we ever hit 14.8 points per game, but might have some moments this season. Might get enough workload to give you a little something. Something happens to Harvey. Something happens to the backfield. They may rely on him to start the season. Najee Harris could sneak some production. He's fallen down the board due to the eye injury. Should be back this season. Should be playing. Shouldn't be impacted that much. Actually is at a good discount. He's going for a value right now due to the injury. He could be effective with the Chargers. Even with him sharing the backfield with Omarion and Hampton, there's some upside here. He could be consistent. He's a little bit cheaper. He's not going to win your league, though. He's a guy that'll get you by. He'll get you some good weeks. He'll probably have a little tear for like 4 weeks. Like, oh, Harris is back. Then we're going to have those RB3 games. But again, this is a running back at this point of juncture in his career where we're holding on. It's a good veteran, though, and a good offense. And if something happens to Hampton, he could be a guy that can get you through a good stretch here in fantasy football. You're looking at the efficiency. It has not dropped off too much. It just hasn't. So we're all right in this notion. We're sharing the backfield. We're not expecting him to win your league unless something happens to his backfield. But Najee Harris, he could be that cheap running back that gets you a few games down the stretch. Ray Davis. Something happens to James Cook. He could go nuclear. He flashed last year. Multiple RB2 weeks. When he got the opportunity, he was the guy. He was looking good. 18.2 fantasy points against the Jets, if you remember that night game. He's not horribly efficient, but he's good at getting volume. He's good between the tackles. He's got good vision. And he's shown that he can flash on the field already, which could amount to more. Tajay Spears. He always has those moments every year where it looks like he's about to hit or has some numbers where it looks very intriguing. Something happens to Pollard. That could be a guy that helps you win some weeks. Every year he flashes a little bit where it reels you in. Tajay Spears showed some upside last season when Pollard was dealing with some things. That could come up this year. He's a guy that's going at a discount. He's also very efficient with the ball in his hands. He's also good in the passing. 10 routes a game is good when Tony Pollard was getting that much work. And with Ward there, might get some checkdowns. If something happens to Pollard, I'm really going to be looking at Tajay Spears. Jaylen Warren is a guy I'm not drafting too much. I'm actually lower than consensus on. But the thing about this is there's going to be work for him. So if you want him, there he is. But I don't expect him to hit S tier, tier A, tier B production. Kaleb Johnson will be ramping up this year. Warren will get some opportunity. Will get some workload. He'll be able to be functional in fantasy. He's not going to be able to win your season, though. He's not going to be over the top in production. He'll get you some double-digit performances here and there. But honestly, he's not a guy you're going to be relying on throughout the season. Efficiency-wise, he's got good vision. He's good between the tackles. The Steelers can rely on him. He's good for football. He's just not great for fantasy football. Isaac Rondo has the potential to be S tier, A tier, tier B productive because if something happens to Christian McCaffrey, he's a rocket ship. You're looking at a running back here that's blasted out of the cannon, has a ton of upside, can get you multiple RB1 weeks. If something happens to Christian McCaffrey, I want Rondo. If I have McCaffrey, I want Rondo. He's the best handcuff for McCaffrey, of course, but also we're very efficient because we can go blast off on any given play. That's the thing about that. It's one play and he can make your week. That's the type of player we're looking at. Austin Eckler gets touches, gets volume, can get you by in lineups. He can still be reliable in fantasy football. It's just if Father Time wants to spit in his face, then that could be it. It could be a wrap. We saw a little bit of that last season. We saw that these last few years. But he can still be reliable. 11 points per game last season. Yards per touch, yards created per touch. He wasn't that bad. He's also very effective. He's just a solid veteran running back who's just trying to get by during the back nine of his career. Jaden Blue could be a rocket ship for your team. This is a fun rookie running back that's very explosive. He runs in the 4.3s. He's in a very ambiguous backfield. Former big-time recruit coming out of high school. Good at catching the ball out of the backfield. 11.3% target share out of Texas. And you just look at this backfield. You're just watching the backfield. But the upside's immense where he could turn on any given Sunday for this team because who's going to prevent him from getting opportunities? Somebody has to exceed expectations for that. Jaden Blue is shot out of a rocket. That is something they've been wanting out of this team. But those are the rankings we're looking at today. We're looking at some upside plays. We're valuing them. I'm going to have some updates down the line, adding more running backs, dropping guys, bringing guys up throughout the offseason. You need to stay tuned. Click that subscribe button as we make those changes. I want to thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.